So I had this idea yesterday. I was thinking about guitar tone and thinking about like a really practical, what I would call like a kind of a tone that I could use throughout an entire set list. Maybe that's, call it all day tone or all night tone. It's like basically the idea is I don't have to be constantly sculpting. If I just had to pick something and go with it, just stays on. And for various reasons, I've needed this over the years. One example I can think of is we were playing on tour and my pedal board just failed. And I remember, it was before I had this one. It was one that I had built myself, and it didn't work. So I had to like strip everything away. I remember spending all day the next day on tour, like in the dressing room, just like peeling everything apart and putting it back together. Anyway, but what I learned out of it is even though my pedal board had, fallen apart essentially, I that night, because I was desperate, I just used 3 pedals all night, and I felt really free. It was like, oh, okay, this is kind of fun actually, because I'm not thinking. When I get to like the next chorus or the next bridge, there's no part of me that thinks, oh, should I switch to a different overdrive pedal or should I try? Those options weren't there. And so what I liked about that was that it was kind of like this new freedom to like be expressive and play and think about, okay, well, maybe could I get the sound I want by rolling my volume pot back just a touch? Or could I get the sound I want by, just dipping my volume pedal a little bit? And or just playing lighter, that's another key. And I'll show you what that looks like. But so that's one reason why it would be pedal board failure, that I would need to like keep it simple, 3 pedals. And if you're constantly having pedal board problems and problems with cables and stuff, maybe one trick is just to kind of slim it down, keep it to the bare essentials live. That works for me a lot of the time. And the other reason is that, like a lot of times we have to like fly into an event or be playing at like a festival or something. And I don't have time to like really sculpt in the sounds on the amps. Or maybe they're not my amps. If we fly there, they're all rented. And so if it's a rental, I got to kind of figure out how to get comfortable real fast with those amps. So I'll just get like a real basic kind of sound out of the amps, and I'll kind of like, I'll try not to EQ too extreme. That's another kind of key to guitar tone for me, is just I don't want any extreme EQ settings on an amp. Like if I'm having to run like tons of, it's like something's wrong with this. I don't like a lot of knobs and a lot of, twisting and turning. It's like get the amp on, make sure it's not too dull and make sure it's not too bright, and then kind of go from there. So, I kind of get like a basic sound dialed up. That's no pedals. That's just the matchless amp. A little bit of verb. So I'll get that. I'll just get like a clean-ish kind of sound, and then if we're in a hurry, I'll stomp on my full drive. Now that sounds a little gainy right here, but live, it gives me some sustain. It gives me like this mid frequency push in the mix. I can hear it in my ears. It works well with the delays and verbs. So I might play the whole night with that pedal, a little bit of verb. These are kind of my like foundational pieces here. Okay. Like I said, it's a little gainy maybe on this for this application when it's just an electric guitar, but I can clean up by just picking lighter. Right? It's got enough top end that if I need to like. If I need to play something that's rhythmic, and then if I want to play something up high, back pickup, it's got all that, right? It's got that if I need that. And then, that might be a lot of the verb, but then I'll add in a delay. like to have one delay that has a long repeats on it for some sustain and for some vibe. I like a little bit of analog kind of warble to the sound here. So a little bit of delay and verb. Now that's 3 pedals. Just a little bit of overdrive to EQ the tone to get it to kind of cut through the mix. A little bit of delay, a little bit of verb, and then I'm set for the whole night. Now my other trick is that I pull my volume pedal back to clean up. So this is full volume. I'm going to pull the volume pedal back just a touch. Right? I could even go even cleaner. Same with your volume knob. I just like the volume pedal. And then you get to a big chorus, you just turn it up. Just tapping in. I don't know what I'm playing here, so I'm just tapping in. All I'm really saying here is that you can get pretty happy with just one overdrive, one amp, delay, verb, and then instead of thinking through like, oh, should I be stacking these 2 pedals or should I remove this? Now, I like all that, and I have these options on my pedal board most of the time. But some of my happiest nights of playing music are when I'm not thinking about all that stuff. I've got one kind of set it and forget it sound, or my all-night tone, my all-night sound. And, you know, it's once I'm there and I can hear myself in the mix, I'm free to play with my bandmates. I can interact with, you know, the band or the guys leading or singing, or maybe it's a, you know, worship leader, or it's your band director or whatever. You know, you can really concentrate on what you're playing and connect with them and interact with the people and help lead and be in the moment. And you're not constantly looking down at your pedals. And you know, there's nothing wrong with that. There's plenty of nights where something just doesn't feel right and I'll switch to a different pedal, or, you know, there's a weird mystery from room to room. You know, like one day this pedal sounds great in this room with this amp, and the next day it's like I can't get my sound inside, you know. But some of my happiest nights playing are when I've been in a hurry, I've dialed up one pedal into one amp and been like, okay, got that sound. And once I get that sound, maybe it's just one guitar, one pedal, you know. And once I get that sound, I just kind of stick with it all night. And it's kind of a relief, you know, not to be worried about, you know, like once you get happy. And that's another kind of trick in this whole thing is once you get happy with like a guitar and a pedal and an amp, like it's okay to stick with that if that feels good, you know. And so I think that's essentially what I'm saying is, you know, you could get by with one pedal if I might run my drive a little high, like that's a little gainy for me, but I know that it's usable, right? It's a usable amount of gain. You can still hear the notes of the guitar. That's one reason I like the full drive. You still get this kind of signal that goes through that sounds like your guitar, and then you get all this sustain. It's got the boost. It's got the boost side as well in the pedal. So that gives you some more grit and sustain if you need that for like a soaring lead tone thing. So, you know, one example would be like, you know, if I had to go there. So that's just one pedal. I put the boost on, I can play up high, but then same pedal, I don't have to do any adjustments. I can just play lightly, or maybe back the volume of the pedal, volume pedal back a touch, and then I'm back into. Right? And then if you had to do some like. Anyway, you get the point. It's just one pedal, one overdrive pedal, one delay pedal, one reverb, and it keeps it simple. That's another thing that I just have to hammer this home over so many years of playing and touring. It's like, keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it simple. That's always what translates. Anytime I've gotten too complicated with my effects and my rig and my cables, it's like sometimes that can all go wrong. And one way that I kind of check myself is I'm like, okay, does the guitar sound good into the amp? Okay, good. Does the guitar sound good through one overdrive pedal into the amp? Okay, good. Then I can add in a little bit of delay and reverb, and it's like, as long as it's not getting too jumbled up and too messy, then I know I can use that all night. So there's an example of just kind of the basic setup that I would go for if I was in a hurry, had to just quickly dial up a tone that I can use all day at church, or maybe on tour at a festival or something. And I know that I can just live all day with that sound. I'm happy. I don't have to fret too much about the EQing and the tone. I like those pedals, similar like a full drive or a tube screamer, that just have a couple knobs. I don't have to worry about too many EQ options. But it's just a thought there, something to mess with, see if that's an application you can use. Thanks again for watching, and please comment below. Let me know what else you'd like to talk about. We're just going to keep running through these videos. Remember, I'm having a lot of fun with this, and I really appreciate you guys. Anytime you comment or say hello down below, it fires me up. I love that. It's really fun to talk to you guys. So please, continue to connect here, and let me know what you'd like to see. We'll keep working through this. I got a lot of ideas. You guys have sent me so many cool ideas and comments and questions, so hopefully we can kind of continue to answer those as we go. All right, have a good one. Okay, so here's the settings for what I was talking about today. You see my full drive. It's set sort of mild here. A little bit overdrive. Tone is almost all the way up. This I set to make sure it's kind of similar to the same level of the amp. It might be a little louder than the amp on its own. I was using this today, and I was just tapping in. I think it had a dotted eighth on it. Just a real simple little delay. Got some rate and depth. Long feedback, and then I'm running the reverb about like this. And that was it. 3 pedals. This one, and this one. And then when I was doing the volume pedal rollback, all I'm doing is I'm just like doing like a little bit of like, about like that to clean up. I might go way down if it's like really, really light, effectsy kind of stuff, but this would be my full sound, and then I'll back it off a touch to clean up. And that was all I was using. Hope that helps.